Thanks to Established Titles for sponsoring this video. Your next iPhone could ban Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, and more. But why? Apple and Facebook hate each other, Apple is costing Snapchat billions of dollars, and Apple employees are getting fired for using TikTok. What's the real deal between Apple and these social media companies? Let me sort of take you behind the scenes, talk to you about this crazy rivalry and these feuds, and also show you a video that Apple tried to ban that you really need to see. Sorry, Apple, I'm gonna show you anyways. Throughout the last few years, a really interesting story has been unfolding between Apple and social media giants. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, they all have a very weird relationship. On one hand, Apple is working to crack down on these bad behaving apps that are trying to steal all of your personal info and monitor every little thing you do that you're probably not even aware is being tracked. Apple is ending that with some new privacy tools that actually are working. Companies are really losing billions and billions of dollars a year. But on the other hand, Apple does use social media themselves, though very, very carefully. They even have accounts with millions of followers with 0 posts on them. Why is that? Well, the answer to that is simple. Apple is a company that loves image, privacy, control, their reputation. They want to be very family friendly. But at the same time, they're a very controversial company. Some of you guys, even watching this video, despise everything Apple does. I see your comments down below, and anytime they were to take to social media, they could get a barrage of both love and hate, and not being able to protect and curate their carefully crafted image is not something Apple wants to do on a regular basis. I mean, take their Facebook page, for example. Every time Apple just changes their cover photo, there are thousands and thousands of crazy comments from people who love and despise everything our favorite fruit company does. So that's why they have a pretty much empty Twitter account with millions and millions of followers. And that's why they disable comments on their YouTube channel, and which is why they're pretty silent on social media. Though executives do have their own accounts and they do post very carefully curated tweets on a somewhat regular basis. And also Apple does buy ads on social media platforms, and they do have spin-off accounts for other sort of Apple entities like Apple News and Apple TV Plus and stuff like that, but all that stuff is very carefully curated. And also, let's just be honest, Apple doesn't need the free publicity that comes from social media. I mean, any move they make, big or small, is gonna be covered on multiple news outlets and websites and YouTube channels like this one, so we're basically covering them for free all the time. So thank you, Apple. Thank you, Apple. You should be thanking me. Apple, you're welcome, by the way. But just because Apple has this very controlling, very heavily curated social media presence, and the fact that they're sort of kind of anti-social media, does that mean those same restrictions and that same sort of theme should be applied to their thousands and thousands of employees who sort of live their own independent lives all around the world, but just happen to work for Apple from 9 to 5? And over the past few weeks, we've seen a number of Apple employees who were fired for posting a TikTok or just appearing in a TikTok that was shared on the platform and sort of later went viral on the internet. And there's a big question on whether that is fair, whether Apple has the right to sort of overreach and control what their employees do on social media, or if Apple is sort of in the right here and there's more to the story than these headlines would lead you to believe.
A sneak peek of the new iPhone comes at a big cost. An Apple engineer's daughter posted this video online, and because of it, her father no longer has a job.
Honestly, I think the best example I can give for this situation, and really one of the most high-profile cases, happened a few years ago, back in 2017, when a very simple situation happened. An Apple engineer wanted to have his wife and daughter visit him at work. His daughter came to visit him at Apple's Infinite Loop campus. They had lunch, she did a little vlog of, hey, here's my dad at work. We're gonna eat some pizza for lunch and check out the new iPhone. And that was it. It was a simple sort of Casey Neistat-esque style vlog and uploaded to YouTube, and then went viral for, well, all the wrong reasons. While the video seems so simple and the idea seems simple, just a father, a daughter, sort of a family having lunch, there are a lot of rules broken in that process. One is that Apple is extremely secretive and controlling, if it didn't already know, and in that video, the daughter had captured parts of Apple's Infinite Loop campus that were sort of off limits to the general public, that people hadn't seen before, I guess really not widely documented, and that was a big no-no from Apple's executive team. But that wasn't really that bad compared to the bigger issue was that when the father handed the then unreleased iPhone X to his daughter, she went through some different features of the phone, swiped down through some notifications, and in the process actually revealed some sensitive company information in a subject line of a calendar invite or a calendar event, and also in some notes. And I know it's really hard to see this because this is sort of a re-upload, so it's sort of hard to see what those notes originally said, but it later came out that some sensitive information was leaked in that seemingly innocent vlog created by the daughter with her dad's iPhone on Apple's campus. So she showed some non-public parts of Apple's campus, she showed some sensitive company information accidentally, and also, although the iPhone X was announced at that point, it was not yet widely available. I think, if I remember correctly, this video in particular went up in October of 2017, the phone launched in November, so while the phone was known, not everyone had special hands-on time with the phone, and she sort of had this unprecedented access that wasn't sort of gone through the proper channels at Apple, and in the end, ended with the engineer in question being fired. I think he had been at Apple for 4 years, and at that time was working on Apple Pay on the iPhone X. Okay, now before we continue with more of this Apple drama, let's take a break for just a moment because I have a very big announcement to make right here for the very first time. My name is Lord Robert Rosenfeld. Yes, I am a Lord now, and I have the proof behind me to prove it to you. All honestly made possible by one of the coolest projects I've seen in a while, and that is this video's sponsor, Established Titles. And if you have not heard of Established Titles before, let me introduce you to an extremely fun and novel way to not only preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland, but also help global reforestation efforts as well. The project is actually based off an old Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds, or lord or lady in English, so as long as you own land in Scotland, you are a lord or lady. And that's exactly what Established Titles is doing. With their title pack, you own your own dedicated 1 square foot of land in a private estate with a unique plot number at all that makes you officially a lord or lady. So that means you can officially put your lord or lady title on things like plane tickets, credit cards, dating profiles, maybe even YouTube channels. It just makes a great last minute gift. And for every order placed, Established Titles will plant a tree and work with global charities One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to support global reforestation efforts. So you not only get this insanely awesome unique gift, but also do some good in the process as well, which is why I've got sort of the green color theme behind me. And the first 200 people who purchase a title pack with my special link down below will essentially get plots right next to mine, or at least definitely within walking distance, which means that all of us lord or ladies in the Apple Circle community can sort of make our own Apple Circle kingdom on this private estate in Scotland. Come on, everybody. We have got to do this. And to make things even better, right now Established Titles is running a massive Black Friday sale, and if you use the coupon code TAC, you can save 10% off your order. So if you want to learn more, check it out for yourself today, hit the link down below, or head to establishedtitles.com/TAC right now. And there was a ton of outrage during that time. People said Apple was crazy, they were overextending their reach, it was just too much, and the idea seemed so simple, and it seemed like Apple was this sort of cruel, heartless giant for not only forcing, or I guess asking the daughter to remove the video, but also firing her father even when that request was made. But in all reality, to sort of play devil's advocate, the father should have known better. All Apple employees sign ironclad NDAs, and they have very strict rules to abide by on what can be shown and what couldn't be shown, or I guess what can't be shown. They know these days what can or cannot be shown. And the fact that he let his daughter come in there with her Casey Neistat-esque style camera and film at Apple's campus, he handed her the phone and then sort of she uploaded the video, whether he knew about it or not, still sort of broke multiple rules that he had to abide by. And in the end, because he broke the rules, he was fired, whether you think that's fair or not. And this issue has come up again in recent years, notably right now in the latter part of 2022, when an Apple contractor was either terminated or a contract wasn't renewed. The details are still a little vague on this, basically because she posted a day in the life TikTok where she showed glimpses of inside of an Apple office building. Not sure if this is Apple Park or an Apple office building, but she showed some inside interior shots, again, that are off limits to the public that she shouldn't have shown. And because of that, rumors have it, and according to reports, she was fired or her contract was not renewed because she made that TikTok. And to be clear, this rule doesn't apply to just regular standard or contract Apple employees. It goes all the way up to the top as well. In fact, one of Apple's top executives, known as the Belvinator, one of their shrewdest negotiators, credited for saving the company tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars a year, was fired from the company because he appeared in a TikTok video and made a crude joke. Though he never said his name or who he worked for, or he was affiliated with Apple in any capacity, he still got the axe because Apple didn't like his joke. It does not align with their core values, their family-friendly approach, and just didn't mesh well with the image Apple was trying to portray. And even though he didn't mention anything specific, he was still in the video, still went viral, and because of it, he got the axe, whether it was fair or not. Apple's axe certainly does not show any mercy. What also really can't be ignored is the other side of the story, and that's that Apple doesn't really like these social media companies at all. They despise Facebook, Twitter, or I guess Facebook or Meta, whatever you want to call it these days, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Because of the tracking they do, Apple is doing everything they can to fight back against these platforms. They're putting in new restrictions in place. They're letting users know when they're being tracked, what information is being collected. They can even stop tracking, or asking the app not to track is now a feature. And Apple is trying to give more control to their users than ever, so their information is not taken from them knowingly or not. A lot of people are wondering if it's just a matter of time until Facebook and Facebook-owned apps like Instagram, Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp, and apps like Snapchat and TikTok are eventually removed off of Apple devices because they break the rules. Is Apple going to implement some new super strict logging tracking policy that is going to fundamentally break the way these apps work? Or are they going to move off a sort of an exodus to sort of spite Apple and move their stuff somewhere else? We don't really know what's going to happen, but it seems like all this stuff is going to come to a head and a really big fight pretty quickly. So I'm curious, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Your thoughts on Apple's social media strategy? Do you think Apple's in the right here? Are they in the wrong? Are they too strict? Should they show some grace? Or do you think Apple employees are sort of knowing what they sign up for when they take the job and should be more careful in what they post? Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much. I'm Robert Rosenfeld from the Apple Circle, and I'll see you all, and I'll see you all in the next one.